pressure on Shea's shot. That goes off the crossbar and deflects on a play. Out in front to Aho. Second chance. Jari just robs him. Carolina keeping the pressure on Shea's shot. That goes off the crossbar and deflects on a play. Mason with it. He'll throw it to the middle of the ring. Kept in by Shea. Now D'Angelo goes across. Trying to lay a little pass across was Nason, but he couldn't get the full plate on the puck.
Best forechecking shift to the period, nearly halfway in for Carolina from the fourth line. Let's see if they can build on it.
He comes up with an intercept. Drop this one back. Jarvis, Teravainen. Oh, they score! Tick, tack, tied. Carolina. Sebastian Aho buries it. His fifth of the year. Sneaky shot put on rebound, and that's hammered over the net by Smith as Achari started it, and Smith just went high over the net.
Did Shea get a piece of that on that gaping cage? I'm not sure, but he may have, and if he did, what a play. You won't see a much better play than this.
Haynes put the defensive pairing back out there. Late here on this power play with Slavin. Puck off the back of the net for Svechnikov. He'll send this back up top. Slavin. Shea scores! On the power play! Feel the burn! 2-1 Carolina. Oh, keeps it in. Back to the point. Worked across. It's Slavin. Slavin out in front. They score! Seth Jarvis deflects it home. And Carolina gets the lead back. It's 3-2. Ranta with another spectacular save on Rust. Oh, Ranta has been sharp tonight.
Welcome to the Canes Corner podcast. I am Adam Gold, and yes, it has already been said. It did feel like a must-win tonight. It actually went for Carolina. Right. And sometimes the must play right when it works out, sometimes that leads to a win. In fact, more often than not, it leads to a win. So what can you say? Canes went out, played the right way, got rewarded for playing the right way, even though first period didn't end the right way. I actually thought the second period was Carolina's best period. The first period was pretty good until the end. And the third period was probably the one that Carolina was the most kind of vulnerable, if you will. They allowed more chances in the third period than they did, I think, in the first two periods combined. I think Pittsburgh had, according to Natural Stat Trick, 7 high danger chances in the third period and 13 for the game in all situations. So, and there were great saves. There were great desperation defensive plays, and Carolina was able to kind of overcome it. Both goals really were not flukes. They were legit goals, both by Sidney Crosby, one with delayed penalty ongoing, and the other which was not a broken play, but kind of a seeing eye pass all the way through traffic. D'Angelo kind of lost Crosby, probably not a guy to lose. But anyway, the Hurricanes got what they wanted. I thought they played a little bit better than Pittsburgh. It wasn't dramatic. It was, I thought, a pretty even game. But the Hurricanes needed to get a win, and they did. We're brought to you by the Aluminum Company of North Carolina, the exterior of your home. You can find it at the Aluminum Company of North Carolina on Hamlin Road in Durham. No place like it. Sammy Hannah's going to do a great job, and you should check them out online, aluminumcompany.com, if you are inclined to improve the exterior of your home. Before we continue, I have a message for you. Well, maybe not for all of you, but for some of you. That was Sebastian Aho welcoming you to the Canes Corner podcast. In Finnish, there are some people in Finland apparently listening. So why not give them something? But this was a good game for Carolina, and it was a good game for a couple of obviously you get 2 points. You needed 2 points. Now, what are they? 10-7 on the season. And this game won't matter if they don't play well again on Wednesday against Edmonton. Right? I mean, the whole point, I mean, they played well in Tampa, and then they didn't play well against Philadelphia. So tonight against Pittsburgh will only matter if they come out 4 days from now, Wednesday at PNC Arena, and do it again. And then they do it again on Friday night against Tampa. And then they do it again on Saturday, or rather Sunday, I think late afternoon, early evening against Columbus. So it's about getting to your game and making it look like Hurricanes hockey, which for the most part tonight it did. And I think that's the thing that Rod Brindamore will take out of it more than anything else, is that it looked like it's supposed to look tonight. And it always looks like that for the Stahl line. And I thought they were the best line in the first period. They're almost always the best line. It just, I mean, it's a broken record at this point, but you have to look past the goals they don't score because they are who they are, and understand that it's just that's the way it's supposed to look. And there will be times this year where they do score, and then you'll go, "My gosh, they're dominant." Yeah, it's kind of the way they always are. But for a lot of the year, that the puck doesn't go in because you've got 3 guys who aren't really goal scorers. But the other thing that I thought was particularly important tonight is that it looked that way when the Aho line was on the ice. Aho, Jarvis, Teravainen. And no offense to Tavo, I actually thought it was the other 2. I thought it was more Aho and Jarvis tonight than Tavo. Not that Tavo was bad. I just, when you watch, and I'm not at the arena tonight. I know it was a home game. I'm not at the arena tonight. I'm on the road. We'll just go with that. But when you watch, you can see sometimes, okay, this line is going. These players are going. And I thought that we saw more desperation from Aho and Jarvis than we had seen. And you don't want it to be desperate. You want just that to be the way they are, where they're on top of the game, they're on top of their opponent. They outplayed the Crosby line tonight. Yeah, Sid had 2 goals. One was delayed penalty. The Aho line wasn't on the ice, and it was against the third defensive pairing, Tony DeAngelo and Dmitry Orlov, which for the most part after that was broken up. We'll talk about that as well. Because I thought Rod Brindamore made a move tonight that he doesn't want to make. And ultimately, it might have saved the game for Carolina. But we'll get to those things. But this is the way it's supposed to look, and this is the way I haven't heard Brindamore's post game yet. We kind of jumped on a little bit early. Normally, we wouldn't get to this till after the aftermath. And I apologize to Dennis Cox for jumping the gun here, but I wanted to get to this as soon as I could before it's too late because we have an early wake up call in the morning. Youth soccer awaits. I want to go through a couple of moments in the game, and then we'll go through some of your comments. So shouts to you in Adelaide or Perth or Dublin or Alaska, wherever you are. First period, I thought Carolina, for the first 15 minutes, was better. They just didn't connect on chances. The Stahl line was excellent. Jordan Martinook kind of batted a puck out of midair that looked like it hit the crossbar and the post. I mean, a week from now, a month from now, that puck goes in. But because that line can't buy a goal, it's not. That Brady Shea at the post after Sebastian Aho was denied twice. Honestly, that was about Aho more than it was about Tristan Jarry, in my opinion. I mean, he pulled the Jack Drury and just shouldered it at Jarry's pad on the first one. And then the second one, he also hit Jarry's pad. He just get it up in time. I don't want to completely ignore the fact that Jarry got there to make the save, but I think Aho's got to score there, right? So we had that, and you felt like Carolina had the chances, the better chances in the first period, but they got nothing out of it. And then I shouldn't say the first, because there were other good chances. Riley Smith had a chance in the first period. There were a couple of other chances. Brian Rust had a chance in the first period. Actually had 2. one late we'll get to. But then the Penguins able to keep the puck in, and somehow Tony DeAngelo lost Sidney Crosby on the back door, and the puck I think it kind of deflected maybe a time or two on the way through, but it got to Sidney Crosby, who knocked it down with a skate. And then it was an easy put away behind Antti Ranta, and it's 1-0. So all the good work, you had a good period, and you allow the first goal, and you're trailing 1-0 after one. By the way, 11 time in 17 games, the Hurricanes have conceded the first goal. But in the grand scheme of things, Hurricanes played a good first period. So you can't be too upset, even though you're down a goal. The Hurricanes, well, in the first period, probably were better than Pittsburgh in the first period, but trailed. And it was a little bit messy. Carolina got a power play late in the period, and the power play was a series of kind of botched passes. And this was, I mean, I didn't love Tony's game tonight. D'Angelo, for those people who don't know who I'm talking about. And I thought it was more noticeable on the power play than it was anywhere else. I mean, Tony's not a great defensive defenseman. We all know that. And he's going to wander. His mind is going to wander, and he's going to lose track of his. We had a goal earlier this season where he was just sort of drifting behind the net for no reason. He wasn't marking anybody. He was just drifting. And it's going to happen with Tony. So I'm not as put off when things like that happen. But one thing I do expect from Tony, and I think we all do, the head coach does, Tony does, is that your main job is offense. So don't be offensively. And I thought he was on the power play. I thought his passing was poor, his decision making was poor, and his poor passing led to a golden chance for Brian Rust shorthanded, which fortunately rang the pipe. And that keeps it 1-0. It would have been another late first period killing goal. But the post, sometimes the goalie's best friend. So the end of the period wasn't good, but the whole of the period was. And in the second period, this was Carolina's best period. It just looked much more like it. You could feel the goal coming. You really could. Aho finally gets the equalizer. Gorgeous pass from Teravainen. Aho wasn't going to miss that one. I mean, could have. Judging by how it has gone, he certainly could have. But Antti Ranta making big saves. Ray Shea and Jack Drury both make incredible defensive plays. The desperation from Shea to get over, I mean, it's a goal. And it's Jake Gensel, who's a 40-goal guy. And Shea to get over and dive and get the stick to it is just an absolute beauty. Brady was great. There was a lot of really good efforts. I mean, the team played it was a good game for everybody. It's kind of hard to give out stars because there were a lot of players who deserved it. I mean, honestly, Brady Shea probably deserved a star for that alone. But those defensive gems, and Ronta made a bunch of saves in the second period. But Carolina was the better team in the second. And you got even it's 1-1, and then you get the goal early in the third. Brent Burns coming through, great shot after the power play expired, but great shot. And it gives you the 2-1 lead, and things are going pretty well. It just kind of drifts a little bit. Pittsburgh's a good team, and they're desperate themselves, given their position in the standings. And they've got a lot of talent. You look up and down the ice when you've got Crosby and Malkin and Gensel and Rust and Raquel and Letang and Carlson. I mean, they have a very, very good team. I don't think they have a great team. I'm not sure it's a playoff team, but they are good and they are dangerous. And for me, the play of the night was this is another opportunity for Jake Gensel. Gensel's probably going to score here too. And Seth Jarvis, with a level of desperation, because it was his play in the offensive zone that led to the transition chance. It wasn't a bad play, just he didn't finish the play. And it leads to the transition chance for Pittsburgh. And Jarvis gets back, foils the shot, smashes into the wall. And at first look, I thought, oh, this could be bad. then when you look at it, when they slow it down, you see he protected it. Thank because Seth was awesome, awesome tonight. Won some defensive zone faceoffs as well. I know Tripp was talking about it, and yes, they do. They need a right-handed faceoff guy, probably not named Seth Jarvis or Martin Natchez. They need somebody that they can rely on in the faceoff circle. Um, but it's such an incredible play, and it shows you where this team's mindset was during the course of the game. And then Slavin to Jarvis for the go-ahead goal after Pittsburgh had tied it up. And it would have been very easy to kind of get down after that. I wasn't sure about the penalty. The delayed, I believe, was on Sebastian Aho. Wasn't sure about that because I saw when a hand went up. Like, did really? Did he hook him? I didn't see the play enough to know what exactly happened, but it didn't look like there was much there. I guess it was a scoring chance. They didn't like Aho's defense. I don't know. I'm not saying it wasn't. I just didn't see it. And Pittsburgh ties it, and you're thinking, man, all this work, and now you're thinking about the chances that didn't go in. Jordan Stahl had a chance that he didn't really have great control of the puck, but he did chip it, and it, well, I don't know what, 2 inches higher, and the goal goes over the pad of Jari, and and Carolina has the lead, but it's 2-2 relatively late, but pretty quickly after it was 2-2, it was 3-2. The Jarvis goal, great pass from uh, Jacob Slavin to Jarvis in the back door, and he makes it 3-2, and then he gets the empty net goal, which was great. But there's a lot of good things about tonight. Antti Raanta was a great. I mean, to me, he was my first star. I thought start to finish, Raanta was excellent. He has no chance on either goal, 0 chance on either goal. He made some huge saves, and he was exactly what they needed today. Exactly what they needed today. Took a puck off the mask. We were worried, of course, and he stopped Riley Smith late. Tremendous. Here's what I think Rod did today that maybe changed the course of the game. It's obvious that he wants to play Tony DeAngelo, or maybe he does. I assume it's Rod because Rod isn't going to play guys he doesn't want to play. But I think as an organization, they've decided that Tony's going to play. Which personally, I'd be playing Jalen Chatfield, but I am the head coach, and he is smarter than me. I promise you that. But he doesn't want to pick up his top 4. He doesn't want to break up Slavin and Burns, Shea and Pesci. But he did. He broke up Shea and Pesci. When DeAngelo was on in the last 2 periods, he was with Shea. When Orlov was on the ice, he was with Pesci. And that was a noticeable change. Now, Shea and Pesci also played together over the last 2 periods. So what that meant was DeAngelo's ice time was down and Orlov's ice time was down. And I'm okay with that. And you should be too. So if they're gonna roll with Steven and Burns, Shea and each playing 23, 24 minutes a night, then they don't need Orlov and DeAngelo to play that much. And you can always play Orlov with Pesci, and you can always play DeAngelo with Shea. That's okay. That's okay. So that's, I think, maybe the subtle change that was made during the course of the game that I think might be a game changer for Carolina because you can keep Tony in the lineup and you can kinda shelter Orlov a little bit, who's uh, we all want Dimitri to come around, but he's not yet there. It may take a while, it may be until January before Orlov completely feels comfortable. I talked about this with Tripp. He thinks that the best he's seen from Orlov is playing on his offside, which maybe down the road he will, but I'm not sure. We don't have enough left defensemen for him to play on his offside. There's only 2 others, right? There's only Slavin and, and Shea who are left shot defensemen. So maybe we'll see some of, Orlov playing with, with Brady Shea, but I just thought that was an interesting switch because Rod had said, out loud that he didn't want to change his top four because they're too good, and I totally get it. All right, let me go through some of these comments here. And I mentioned this before. Dream, why does it feel like it was a must win? It's because it was. And again, more than a must win, it was a must do it the right way, which hopefully leads to a win. But tonight was a do it the right way. And I'll reiterate the point I made a few minutes ago. You've got to do it again and again and again. Otherwise, anybody can play well. Anybody can do a one off. San Jose can have a whole entire week where it looks right, but we know they're no good, right? So if you're the Hurricanes, tonight can't be the outlier. Tonight's got to be the and we've seen it. We've seen, uh, so as long as they can, do enough of that, uh, then Carolina will be fine. There are a lot of questions about Jalen Chat. Yeah. Again, I'd love to see them play Chatfield. I think Chatfield's the best partner for Orlov, but Rod feels very strongly, obviously, that Tony is needed for the power play, and he does add offensive punch. So I get it. And it's November, and they're trying to make it work. If it doesn't work, they'll stop doing it. Stop doing it. But I'm not at this point. I know there's a lot of hot takes out there. I heard somebody call it coaching malpractice. Step away from the tailgate. Just step away from the tailgate, man. I promise you, the head coach knows more about this than we do. I promise you. Again, I like Chatfield overall with Orlov better. I don't necessarily like him better than Tony with everything that Tony can bring, but I like him as a pairing with Orlov. But I am thinking about it from what I'm thinking about the mistakes. I'm thinking, and it's not just Tony. Tony is exactly who Tony is. The defensive mistakes, I said this earlier, the defensive mistakes are always going to be there with Tony. You live with them because of the offensive upside. Like I said, I wasn't as upset with Tony for losing Sidney Crosby as I was with Tony for messing up the power play. So you are who you are. That would be like saying, man, why isn't Aho being more physical? I mean, because he's not really a physical player. He can be, but it's not his game. So you want Tony to be who Tony is. If he is, he'll help the team, right? I thought on the power play it was sketchy at best, and it's probably to me that's probably the thing that you have to have better from Tony. Anyway, the Svechnikov goal chalked off. VAR to the rescue of the Pittsburgh Penguins. And this question from Will, super bummed about it. Yeah, bummed because you wanted to see Andre score. First of all, the best part of the play was the Kotkaniemi pass up the ice to Marty Necas, who, I mean, he was offside by what, an inch? I mean, I'm not blaming anybody on play, but it was off. I thought it might be off when he backed into the zone. Had he gathered the puck first, then I believe he's on. But he didn't, and his skates were clearly in the zone before the puck got in. So it was the right call. I have no problem with the right call. But the best play of that whole sequence was the Kotkaniemi pass, banked off the wall to Necas. And then it was great to see Svechnikov get a goal, but hopefully that'll come soon. It's 9 games? He missed the first 8. They played 17. Yes, 9 games in, it's time. I mean, that's all you can say. It is absolutely time for him to score. But he's playing better. He did commit another silly offensive zone penalty, which at some point Rod's going to get mad at that. I know Svechnikov is graded on a curve. I think we all recognize that. But Andre needs to stop doing stuff like that. It was an unnecessary check of forget exactly who it was for Pittsburgh, but you don't check that guy into the goal. You just don't do it. All right, it was pretty good from Carolina tonight, and it was nice to see because they needed to play the right way. They get a win, yeah, Ante Ranta at home is nearly unbeatable, but he deserved it tonight. He was not a rocking chair. He was not a passenger tonight. He led the line. So my 3 stars were Ronto 1, Jarvis 2, Aho 3, but it could have been Burns. Jarvis could have been 1, 2 as well. Could have been Shea. Pesci and Slavin were great. Hell, could have been Stahl. That line was so good. So good. And as you heard in the highlight package, because I think Tripp was right, the 4 line midway through the period, that shift led I mean, it's probably just coincidence, but that shift led to another shift. I think the Aho line came on, and then the Kokoniemi line came on. And that was a good 4 or 5-minute run that ultimately led to the Aho goal that made it 1-1. And, man, those tying goals, they just relax you. So you're not gripping it. Now, they're still gripping the stick because there should have been more goals. I think Carolina scored tonight. We talked about it. So they're going to have to start getting some of those to find the back of the net. They can do that. They'll be in very, very good shape. But ultimately, the way we saw it tonight, the way we need to see it again on Wednesday. And we'll be back with you after the Hurricanes and the Edmonton Oilers on Wednesday. It's the Canes Corner podcast, brought to you by the Aluminum Company of North Carolina. If it's for the exterior of your home, you can find it at the Aluminum Company of North Carolina on Hamlin Road in Durham. No place like it. Sammy Hanner's crew do a great job. I appreciate your time. I hope you will go call the Aluminum Company if you need any exterior home improvement needs, siding, roofing, windows, entry doors, gutter helmets, any of that. It's important stuff, especially bad weather. Oh, man. Anyway, I'll talk to you Wednesday night after the Canes and the Edmonton Oilers. They're a little bit of a different team since the coaching change. Maybe Carolina will remain the same team tonight at PNC Arena until Wednesday night. I'm Adam, and I thank you very much. But first,
Moi. Kuuntelen tällä hetkellä Canes Corner podcastia.
there you go. Sebastian Aho. Now I have to get somebody to